COVID-19, just a few thoughts about this. What are the consequences on the side of the metal spot users? What do we get as a feedback also from our customers? We see a digitalization push. There is more demand for remote operation, remote support and service. The vision, I would say the old vision of the fully automatic plant is stepwise becoming reality, and it's really going on in this direction. Digitalization of know-how and the digital assistant function are more becoming important if the experts are not available, or if there's, for example, this pandemic situation. Another big topic is the use of data and reliable AI, and here we always have the credo that we combine data analytics expertise with the domain know-how of metallurgists and plant builder, because we think that this combination, high data analytics competence and AI competence with metallurgy know-how and with plant building know-how is very important to realize reliable AI solutions. And finally, of course, the flexibility and the adaptability of the process is a key topic. For example, if you have to shut down your production or reduce the production, you have to be very flexible how to use raw materials, energy, and how to optimize the usage of your assets.
I see the future will look completely different in the next years. But always, it's very clear that the technological know-how is integral to our automation, integral to our digitalization, because if you merge domain know-how with advanced analytics know-how, we enable our clients to produce high quality and highest productivity. But also we are setting new standards for automatic control. Actually now in the pandemic, we see how critical it is to have all the operators together in one pulpit. So we need decentralized operations, decentralized or remote pulpits. So the future will be decentralized with hyper automation, etc. But also digital twins are now already state-of-the-art industry. But I see a digital twin is not a plug-and-play solution, it's by design. So a digital twin is designed, will be involved over the lifetime, and the overall goal is, of course, to simulate the entire production prior to production, but also to simulate the technology prior to installation and production. And the biggest value driver of the future we see, of course, is digitalization. Digitalization will enable our customers to be more profitable in the future. And our approach and our vision is the learning steel plant, and we clearly believe in turning data into information and information into value. And our approach is not about installing everywhere a new sensory system. No, it's about transforming existing data into value.
COVID-19 has brought us a lot of challenges around certainly excess capacity, a lot of demand uncertainty, and with that, a lot of questions around what to do in pricing decisions of when to lead, when to lose, around really when to build new assets and build new greenfield sites. Workforce instability around, obviously on top of an existing aging workforce, additional health-related concerns and instability on top of that, and last but not least is margin pressure. If we look at the compounding factors on top of that, our view from Noodle AI is that legacy and traditional software is failing process manufacturing. You see a lot of hype out there in consumer AI and more focused on marketing and pricing and those types of use cases. But our view is that in heavy asset and particularly in metal manufacturing, traditional software is failing, leaving a lot of massive opportunities on the table. Whether it's at the bottom here, I've got some stats on it's an average 10 million ton producer, and what we're seeing is about $130 million of quality downgrades, $100 million of unplanned downtime events, over maintenance just based on condition-based monitoring, and a lot of these rules-based systems out there that we see, they're failing. Not entirely, but also leaving a tremendous amount of money on the table. And now, particularly given these times, every dollar matters. So this is really where we feel strongly that AI plays a very, very strong role.
When we see all the results of the presentation today, which are the result of continuous detailed monitoring and collection of millions of data, But to collect these millions of data, it also requires an exponential numbers of sensors, actuators, and digital devices. If we compare to earlier days, what is the additional capex? What is the lifetime of these sensors you're seeing? And what are the maintenance frequency? Because we know if parts of this, let's say, complex system are failing, we are losing data and so on. I think that's a point where a lot of the audience operating steel plants or thinking about to invest are interested.
There is already also a high amount of data, signals, sensor information available, but up to now, most of this amount of information, data, and signals is not used. Yeah, so there is some rough figure that maybe 1 or 2% of the data generated in a factory, in a steel factory, is currently really used. The other information is somewhere stored and then somewhere deleted. So it is not, I would say, a precondition that you install thousands of new sensors and so on. So this is for sure, from my point of view, the wrong view. But of course, you install several new intelligent sensor systems, not only delivering signals and information, but also connecting them with the automation systems on the one hand, and on the other hand also collecting this data in a data platforms that you can apply then analytics or some AI. So I would say also if you're investing in new plants in general, more and more sensors are in. So this is not significantly in comparison to the overall costs, yeah, and the overall price of an entire plant. So we are somewhere maybe in the percent region, yeah. What is the additional cost of the sensors? The key topic is to use then the information and the data, and this can be done, as I said, by integrating it in an automation system or by applying additional new applications which are based on physical models on the one hand, but also very much more now on data-driven model.
I have one question here, and I would like to understand that we talk about the references, and you know, we have seen now as SMS Digital, you have the reference named in SMS in Big River Steel, and if we see the Big River Steel is a new plant, and it's quite easy. It's a greenfield plant basically, and you have built up the complete plant on your own. Now let's now look into the brownfield installation. How complicated and how difficult is it to get it done in the brownfield in an already existing plant, let's say of the 90s? We know that especially what Thomas also mentioned, the sensors are there and have to be maintained. And but let's go away from the sensors. Let's go. How can we put systems brownfield in an existing plant where we have maybe 2 or 3 different supplying partners in the past? This is a question.
Yeah, actually, the entire world is talking about Big River Steel. But let's say 98% of our references are brownfield. So we have 15 references for our data platform. 14 of them are brownfield. Even we have one reference on enterprise level where we have connected 5 different sites to our data platform. We have a reference also starting from blast furnace down to finished products. So all of our references in terms of the data platform, beside of Big River, it's the only greenfield reference we have so far, is brownfield. Now, of course, with the biggest project actually on the market, SDI, which is under commissioning, there also we will be part with our data platform. This will be the second greenfield reference, but I strongly and I like brownfield. Brownfield is because we are talking about business cases. For example, if I'm sitting with Chris on the table with a client, we are discussing business cases, and the improvement potential in brownfield is so much bigger, and we have a very comprehensive solution to handle this, let's call it data issue, to convert big data to smart data. We have pre-configured and pre-defined a connector, so we can connect to all level 1, level 2, level 3 systems from different suppliers. There we are completely open, and as I mentioned, brownfield is our homeland, and this is where I see, let's say, the potential is much bigger, and the business impact is way bigger compared to the greenfield mills. They are already highly, let's say, optimized.
We know that, let's say, the workforce in steel plants is aging, and a lot of them are not familiar with digital know-how, with collaborative work, and sometimes they're even hesitating, let's say, working against the solution to implement these digital solutions. What is your experience in different areas maybe of the world, and how did you cope with this situation to bring the workforce on board to overcome this a little bit traditional approach?
I mean, I think from our perspective, especially in AI and ML, there's just a lot of inherent skepticism. And we actually, in addition to top-down support, we like to target the skeptics. And I think it's not to teach to the front of the class. I mean, not to go right to folks that are never going to be converts, but to get to the folks that have a healthy level of skepticism, because I think we find that once you engage them and you show them that this works, they bring everyone with them. They bring a lot of the folks that are just even more skeptical along with them. So I think the change management of who do you target and how do you engage them? And as Bernard said, I think, we call it feature engineering or from the machine learning side, but engaging them, bringing them in. And early on, 4 years back, we deployed this energy prediction application. And at that time, it was just pure data driven, but we sat down with the operators and talked to them about the weather characteristics and the dolo lime usage and the crew and hot starts or cold starts, and just getting that level of engagement when you have a group of data scientists from Silicon Valley. It was great to see that interaction, that dynamic, because it really is a team sport, and it takes inputs from all different types. So it's not either or, it's about everyone working together. So it's a fun challenge. That's part of what gets us up in the morning.